Hello and welcome to the Do-Over Show. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, the ancient proverb says, and that can haunt us, nag us. If only I had done things right the first time. If only I'd bought Bitcoin at $5. If only I'd chosen a different major. But I loved art history. If only I'd taken Mr. McGuire's advice to young Benjamin in The Graduate. I want to say one word to you, just one word. Yes, sir? Are you listening? Yes, I am. Plastics. Exactly how do you mean? There's a great future in plastics. Think about it. Will you think about it? As one psychologist put it, it's easy to believe life has passed you by, especially when our past seems littered with bad choices and squandered opportunities. It feels like we've run out of time, and we really wish, we could have a do-over. Well, we can, because it's not too late. The next line of that ancient proverb is that the second best time to plant a tree is today. In this video, I'll share with you the 3 essentials for you to start your do-over the right way. 3 practices you can start today. Hi, my name is James Callahan, and if you've ever felt like you've missed your shot, blown your one opportunity to grab everything you ever wanted, this is for you. Hearing "I told you so" is no help at all. So what about hearing "it's not too late"? When all we have is that nagging feeling that it's too late or we've missed our opportunity, and all we hear is that voice haunting us. It's too late. You blew it. Your money, your career, your whole life. That's when we've got to stop digging that hole we're in and start looking and listening for something better. Here's my story. Well, the short version of it. My passion is second chances, not second guessing. I'm into teaching and learning. I'm a high school dropout who earned a PhD, a college professor, a team leader, a consultant, a public speaker, a researcher, a writer, an investor, a day trader. There are stories to all the things I do. So please subscribe so you won't miss an episode of how I screwed up and succeeded. If nothing else, you'll learn something from my mistakes. And you might start to admit that it's time that you learned from your mistakes too. My journey has been uneven. I've had great jobs. I've lost great jobs. I've had career changes that I chose and some were forced on me. So here's what's important. The basics of starting a do-over the right way. First, time is not our enemy. It's really not. And those nagging feelings of "if only," or "it's too late for me," or "I missed my one opportunity," well, that hurts. But time can be hacked. No, I'm not selling you a DeLorean, Marty McFly. I'm telling you that time can be hacked. It's relative. It depends. Would you be better off starting when you were 15 years old and investing the same amount year after year and enjoying the 8th wonder of the world, compound interest? Well, yes, of course, but I did that and eventually had to spend that money to survive. It was that or live in a cardboard box and dumpster dive. And that kind of financial minimalism, Graham Stephan, is only fun when you have money in the bank, not when you're bankrupt. Have you ever looked at your Social Security statement? Not to see how much money you'll receive if you retire or when you retire, or even if Social Security might be there when that day comes, but to look at your earning history throughout your life. My first year of working, I made $904, and I felt rich. I had lied about my age to get a job as a busboy at a Sizzler steakhouse. If you've ever worked in the food service industry, you know it can be physically exhausting, thankless, and it's a very difficult way to become rich. But I loved it, even on all-you-can-eat shrimp days. So if time is not our enemy, why are do-overs so difficult for us? And why do we panic? Sometimes it may feel like we have career ADHD and we just bounce from job to job. Or our job just disappears. Or the economy changes. Or are there just too many art history majors in the market? Maybe it's our reluctance to change that gets in the way. What's that old saying? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Or it could be that we see everything as a zero-sum game. And if someone else succeeds, we feel like we've lost. And sometimes we feel that strange pleasure of watching a successful person crash and burn. Well, put that schadenfreude back in the dark place where it belongs. Life is not a zero-sum game. Money is not a zero-sum game. Investing is not a zero-sum game. And all that means is that someone else doesn't have to lose for you to succeed. The second part of a successful do-over is start before you're ready. When are you going to plant that tree? If you say, when I'm ready, you'll probably never plant that tree. This is the point when excuses start to come up, because we'll say, but I don't know how to do it. Well, Google it. We have everything that we need at our fingertips, right here. And if you start saying, but I didn't grow up with it, and this isn't native to me, well, you also didn't know how to drive a car or use a toilet. And I think you figured those out. Starting before we're ready is really confronting our perfectionism. Perfectionism is just another word for ego and pride and insecurity. We won't know until we try, but we don't try until we're ready. In the world of second chances, show beats tell every single day. Let me give you an example. Writers are those who write, not just those who own cool Moleskine or Lectern notebooks, or perfectly sharpened Ticonderoga pencils, or the ideal chair, or a cabin in the woods by a babbling brook with birds singing. And don't confuse a perfectly sharpened Ticonderoga with talent, or complain that we haven't yet found our muse. If we're not writing, we're not writers, but we'll never know until we start writing. Oh, and a writer just doesn't sit down in front of a blank page or that blinking cursor on a screen with the directive on top, write something. Instead, we'll have a task, a hook, an idea, an end, an anecdote that we want to build around, develop, explore. But we'll never get anywhere if we start with write the next great American novel. Like these unopened notebooks. Just the idea of them, holding them, makes me feel something. Come on, admit it. You felt it too. I'm not alone in this. But without something to say, to write, to share, without risking that, no one will pay attention. No one will listen. Now, the blank page phenomena is real. It's intimidating, but because of our ego, our fear of being judged. Yep, perfectionism again. Perfectionism is really just an excuse, so don't use that in your next job interview when you're asked, what's your greatest weakness? Oh, I'm a perfectionist. Perfectionism's there to protect our fragile egos, to keep us from trying and from risking things. The very thing we need to do if we're going to have a successful do-over. Just think of how people are hired and fired these days. It is a long, arduous process with vetting and multiple interviews, and it's all designed to give HR and the boss who does the hiring cover. And when something doesn't work out right, when we don't live up to expectations or exceed them, they're at fault because they didn't hire well. And they're not going to live with that fault too long. They're going to look for a scapegoat, and that's going to be you. Everything about hiring and firing is about ego and blame, and it can destroy us. Not just our bank account. I've been there. And I'm guessing you might have been there too. That's why this second step is so difficult and so important. Start before you're ready. And third, make gratitude your new mantra. It's amazing! You get a do-over! And when things don't go the way we hoped they would, the best thing we can do is to be grateful. Gratitude is the destroyer of entitlement, just like entitlement is the destroyer of do-overs. We wonder, why do I have to start over again? Why do I have to change? Why can't everybody else change? Why can't all the 7.7 billion people in the world change so I don't have to have a do-over? Someday I'll tell you about this awesome job I had that was made just for me, and then one day it just disappeared. It no longer existed. So I was no longer employed. I learned so much through that. I'm truly grateful. And I still remember the look on the face of the person from HR when I turned to them and said, wow, thank you. Really, thank you. That thank you is what saved me from giving up, feeling sorry for myself, and it was the start of my best do-over yet. That's the start. Those are the basics. Learning to hack time, starting before we're ready, and practicing gratitude. Now, if you're ready to start your do-over, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Hit the like button so YouTube knows what you like, and ring the notifications bell. Oh, and if you happen to catch that funny German phrase I threw in a minute or two ago, why don't you let me know in the comments? And also, drop a comment about your own do-over. I'm so glad you found me, and I found you. Thank you. Testing, 3, 2, 1. Comes an ambulance, fire engine, or is it fire engine and then ambulance? Toilet flush, right on cue. Give me a minute.
In this video, I'll share with you the 3 essentials for you to start your do-over the right way. Real ways to jumpstart your do-over. Real ways to jumpstart. Real ways to jumpstart and get your... Real ways to jumpstart your rebuild and get you on track. Hi, my name is James Callahan. Hi, my name is James Callahan. And if you've ever felt like you've missed your shot, blown your one opportunity to grab everything you ever wanted, shout out Marshall Mathers. This is for you.
Not just those who have all the cool notebooks, their moleskins and their electrums unopened. You get a do-over. It's amazing. You get a do-over. It's amazing. It just disappeared. It just evaporated. It just magically went away. It no longer existed. It disappeared. It evaporated. Or perfectly sharpened Ticonderoga pencils, or the ideal chair, or a cabin in the woods by a babbling brook with birds singing. It didn't work. Thank you, and goodbye. How do they do that? It didn't work. Thank you. Bye. Well, I've got to work on my There, it worked.